Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, May 31st, 2020. Wow, it's been a heck of a year so far, hasn't it? And this week we have a lunar eclipse on June 5th in Sagittarius. The fun continues on. Anybody out there? Say hello. Say good morning. Okay, so we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. It's going to be squaring Mars and opposing Venus. This is going to test already strained relationships. Good morning, Andra from Germany. Good morning, Juan. Good morning, Cece Pups. Good morning, Marta. Good morning, Small Wildflowers. Sabrina Ray, Carmen, Casey, DTT. So as I was saying, so we have this full moon lunar eclipse. Good morning, Stephen. And if things weren't already tense enough with our little Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn party up there, here we go. So good morning, Ascending Aquarius. Good morning, Sun Fent. So I just want to bring up that small irritations can have major ramifications this week. And it may not be you the one getting irritated. It may be other people getting irritated with you. Good morning, Nikki. Good morning, Finding Heart. Good morning, Katie. I think I said good morning to Sabrina and Janine, Rye, Michelle. Okay. Yeah, the Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto party, that's going to go on for a while. And I feel like they're all sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigarettes. And the smoke is getting thick. So I want to say this because we also, this moon is, it's going to be squaring Mars and also opposing Venus. So what do we, Mars traditionally we think of as male energy, Venus is a female energy. So we may see a lot of polarization in those dynamics, in those sort of things. And they may come also in a way where it's revealing a sense of your self-worth, meaning this. Venus represents our self-worth, second house. It represents our money. So that comes into play. But I think that there may be the potentials that if we've been in a challenging dynamic or challenging relationships, that you may claim your self-worth back. And it may be the straw that breaks the camel's back is kind of how I want to put it. So as we gear up for this lunar eclipse on Friday, I believe Friday is the 5th. I think the more mindful we can be and to remember to take a breath, that we can help fix the energy. Okay, so I want to say good morning to a few people I missed. I think I said good morning to Michelle. I said hi to Steven, Sabrina, Les, good morning. Good to see you. Sammy's mom, Sammy, good to see you. Welcome. Okay, I said hi to Rye. All right, so I think I'll just jump into our readings today. And well, I say that and then I change my mind. I think we'll pull one of our cards with our Kyle Gray deck and see how. Good morning, Tebow. Great to see you. So glad to have a newbie here, Rye. Welcome, welcome. We love to have people here. Good morning, Victory. Okay. So what we're going to do is this deck is based on Ancestors and Angels. It's by a gentleman out of the UK named Kyle Gray. And what we like to do here as a tribe is to look at the card together and to look at the symbolism of the card and to start to build our language with spirit. Because so often they communicate through symbolism. It would be so nice if we got a burning bush and a tablet with directions, but it doesn't quite work that way. Good morning, Jolene. Good morning, Yellow Exeria. I think, I hope I said that right. I have no idea. Okay, so here we go. Let's look. What is the general message for the tribe as a result of this card here? Animal guardian. So many of our tribe are four-legged mommies. I believe Sammy's mom, Sammy, is a four-legged mom. So I want to offer this. What does it say? It says, trust your instincts. Good morning, Kyle from Glasgow, Scotland. My father was raised in Scotland. I'm half Scottish. So I want to offer this. Look at the various animals we have on this card. What does this invoke from you? Does it make you feel safe and protected? Do you feel like I don't know, I love this card. To me, this is a very instinctual dynamic. And I always talk about the elements of nature being a way for spirit to communicate with us. And I often will talk about the kind of totems I see here, living by the beach. Seahawks are huge for me, and they traverse the air element as well as the water. So I want to offer this week for our tribe yes, Janine, nurturing. She feels very nurturing with the deer. And gentle, the deer can represent fear, paralyzation, and being gentle with yourself. DTT, you're a fur mama too? Me too. My little baby's over sleeping in his bed. I also love the heart-shaped barn owl. The face is heart-shaped, and that sits at the top of her crown. Good morning, everybody. Hot retarded chick, I didn't say good morning to you. And then I love the panther. I've always loved large cats. Look at the way he almost looks like he's nudging her ear and whispering sweet nothings. I got you. So this week, okay, so we talked about this lunar eclipse, full moon lunar eclipse, potentially making people reactionary to things. So I feel like this is an opportunity for us to trust our inner knowing versus what comes out of someone's mouth, and maybe also not to react, but to choose how we want to show up. Sometimes it's just best not to engage. Okay, on we go. Good morning, Joy, Mindy. So many new people in the room today. I'm so excited to see you all. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, I'm Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner. I'm not an astrologer, but I definitely dabble and study with the teachers on Lada's channel. So what we do is we incorporate astrology and we get messages from the angels by astrological rising sign. So I like to start backwards because my Leo sun says that Pisces and Aquarius and Capricorn always have to be so patient and wait. So I think for quite some time now, I've been starting with Pisces and working my way towards Aries. And I like to go by rising sign, moon, because it represents our emotions, the sun. And then if you have a stellium, which is 3, and strict is 4 planets in one sign, you're going to see some significant energy coming through in your chart for that. So here we go. Thank you, Victory. It has been a very challenging time in the world. I really much feel like this is like akin to revolutionary wars and civil unrest in our liberating ourselves. And we have Uranus going through Taurus, so it's going to be a very liberating energy. Good morning, Barbara. Okay, here we go. Let's start with our Pisces. Again, it's rising moon, sun, and stellium. I want to say this. This is why I believe this tribe and Sunday morning is so powerful, because it's a time when we can hold our light together, when we can stand in the unknowing, but together. And as we stand in the light together, I feel like it sends up this huge beam to spirit, which then ripples out, and it brings some sort of balance to these times. All right. Oh, you have a curfew in San Francisco. Wow. They've just started opening up the restaurants now, a little bit of dining, and then a little bit of, I think the restaurant on the corner has a capacity to seat like 20 people, and I think maybe they're letting 6 people sit. And now there's every other table. The servers are all wearing masks. It's pretty crazy. But I want to say this, we have more information than we've ever had before. So we're more aware of how people are responding around the world, where back in the day, the Revolutionary War took 6 months to get a letter somewhere if you were lucky. And so people were really more focused on their everyday lives until trouble came to them. So on some level, as we stand in our own light and tuck into our world, and it's not about not being aware of what's going on. It's more about thinking, how much influence can I have over a situation? And if I have no influence over it, how can I hold light or hold space and not get sucked into the darkness? So that's where I'm going with that. Okay. Your Uranus is in Taurus, Victory. So you're having your Uranus return. Wow. I've been juicing celery juice actually every morning for almost a month now, and it's been tremendous. I've been really good about sticking to it. And I've been, of course, meditating. My moon is in Taurus at 9 degrees, and Uranus is at 8 degrees right now. And I have to say, while I thought this might be a very time when I'd be super nervous and worried and kind of, I don't know, I feel so calm. I don't know what that is. I don't know if suddenly when it goes conjunct, there'll be something kooky, but we'll see. Sammy's mom, Sammy, if you'd like to get a reading from me, you can always go to Lada's website. That's astrolada.com. And under the reader's menu, look for Teri Hunter. I pretty much offer a half hour and an hour. Okay. So as I promised, Arian Storm, welcome. Welcome. Pisces, Leo, Gem. Awesome. Welcome. Good to see you. So many new people. Exciting. Okay. Now I'm really going to start. You'll learn quickly that Teri talks a lot. I have a lot of words that come out of my mouth. But I do my best to try to keep this succinct. And I'm so blessed to have such good help with the timestamps. So I want to thank everybody there. All right. Here we go. Pisces, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, Stephen, I'm sorry to hear that. I haven't had any personal losses from COVID, so I'm sending condolences to you and your family. All right, here we go. Pisces, our first angel is Chantal. The second is Archangel Uriel. The third is Yvonne. And the final is Oceana. For those of you that are new to my Sunday morning get together, I use 2 decks. I do use Doreen Virtue's Messages from Your Angels. It's one of her original decks. I know it's a bit controversial, but I've developed a language with the deck and feel a very personal connection to it. So I don't really associate it with her. I also use a deck called The Legend of Avalon by Colette Baron Reed, and this deck is based on the Legend of Camelot. So we see 3 different types of cards. We'll see animal totems, we'll see characters like Guinevere and Arthur, and then we'll see markers on the road of life. So we'll go on. Good morning, Cosmo Kids. So great to see you. Okay, here we go. Chantal is being joined by the King. Archangel Uriel is being joined by the Joy card. Yvonne is being joined by the Spider. And Oceana is being joined by the Forgiveness card. Okay, so I started this broadcast talking about our full moon lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. When I think of Sagittarius, the first thing that comes to mind is my belief system. And when I think about the moon squaring Mars and opposing Venus on this eclipse, there could be the potential for Pisces to find themselves in a challenging situation with their partner. And it may have something to do with a belief that you both have. And then for some reason, this particular week, it becomes important for you to be acknowledged by your partner for your belief. Not that they have to agree with you, but I feel like that. Because when I see Chantal in the foundational position, this is where I sit, it's about my romantic body. And there's the King. And the King can represent a man, of course, but it also represents justice and male energy and things pertaining to the law. So I feel when I looked at this, that this was, again, what I believe Sagittarius kind of reminded me of Sagittarius. And then this is this eclipse, how I'm feeling about myself. So this is a Pisces reading for Pisces rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I start at Pisces and go backwards towards Aries. Now, Pisces, in my opportunity and my obstacle, I have frustration, and that's what this eclipse is representing. It's a very much a polarizing feeling. It can love-hate kind of dynamic. And Archangel Uriel helps us deal with frustration. This is my opportunity. And then there's the Joy card. So I feel like this is really about making a choice, Pisces. Do I want to move towards joy, or do I want to move to engage in the frustration? And I want to put it this way, because sometimes when we're irritated, for someone to say, oh, just be happy, just get over it, that's almost like putting gasoline on the fire. But for me, this is really about, I feel like it's about looking at the situation more deeply before reacting, because certain people have certain habits, and the habits that we have will ebb and flow in their irritation and our ability to deal with them. Because in the angel's advice, the third position, I have Yvonne, which represents vulnerability to me. And then this is the spider. And for me, the spider represents relationships. I don't know why it always came through that way. I saw the fly in the web. And I feel like it's being vulnerable to a bigger picture of your relationship. It's kind of like, I feel like a small thing could get slightly blown out of proportion. And as a result of that, there is your Pisces is being called upon to look deeper at the relationship, like a bigger picture of it moving forward, of there's more good than bad. Okay. And then I want Oceana in our final position is to take action and lovingly assert ourselves. And the forgiveness card is here. And I think that's a reconciliation. Often I'll talk about forgiveness. For me, is challenging when someone does the same thing over and over again and just says, oh, that's just who I am. And I'm thinking to myself, if you love me, then you'll work a little bit harder to adjust that part of you that irritates me so much. So overall, now I want to say this too, because Chantal represents intimate love, but I think this could potentially be all sorts of loving relationships, family relationships. I'm not really going with employers, but close friends, people that are in your heart family, because it's kind of a moment where, and if you be the one, if for some reason, Pisces, you're the one that frustrates somebody else, do your best not to jump into a reaction and to hold back a little bit and give yourself a moment to breathe. Because I just feel like with this moon, with that Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter party going on, there's just a lot of interesting energy going on right there. And we may have a little bit of buyer's remorse about overreacting. Thank you, Sammy's mom, Sammy's. Little plug for my Stitch Fix gal. This is a new top she sent, and I quite like it too. I love the orange. Okay, I'm going to go on to Aquarius. Okay, did somebody ask? Oh yeah, okay, all right. Here, we're going to go on to Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And again, I say that way because I feel like the moon really represents our emotions, and how we take on our actions is based on those emotions. If I'm feeling cranky, then small things will irritate me. And I have to pull myself back. Like, for instance, this morning, my neighbor, I believe she's a nurse, because I've heard rumor that she's a nurse, and she's gone. And when she's gone a lot. And when she's here on Sunday morning, she plays her music super loud. And I think to myself, do I want to be irritated because I'm doing the show, or can I just make it white noise in my head? And in the beginning, because of the Pluto, Saturn, Jupiter thing, I was getting irritated. And I had to pull myself back and say, you know what? Let her play her music. Who cares? All right, here we go. Aquarius, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Welcome, Nathalie. Is it Natalie? Is it Natalie with an H? I'm going to say it's Natalie with an H. That's what I think that is. Good morning, Indentured Rebel. I love that. That's a great name, great handle. All right, Cosmo Kid, this is yours. Give it a good shuffle. Oh, thank you. Natalie with an H. All right. Our first angel for Aquarius is Indriel. The second is Crystal. The third is Bridget. And the final is Archangel Raphael. Here we go. Hi, Sabrina Prasad. I think I got that right. I'm not very good with names. I try. Okay. Good morning, Angela. All right. Indriel is being joined by the spider. Crystal's being joined by the earth fairy. Bridget's being joined by the burden card. And Archangel Raphael is being joined by the queen. This is interesting to me because while we didn't necessarily get Chantal or Daniel, which represents intimate relationships, again, I'm going to relationships with Aquarius because, again, the spider represents, to me, once the fly gets in that web, it's not coming out. So this is very much a relationship card. And then I have Indriel, the light worker. And I feel like this is a week with this, this is a tense year. Basically, if I could be a bear and go to and hibernate for the rest of 2020 and come out when it's all over and everything's settled down, I would, but we can't. So what we can do is do our best to stay as conscious as possible, and be conscious in our relationships so that we can shine the light that we're meant to be. Because I believe coming here as a group every Sunday is a very powerful energy for Source, for God, for the angels, for Jesus. I believe that it's like a invitation for them to help us be the beings of light and balance that we are. So I want to offer for Aquarius, I feel like, you have this little bit of a scientific dynamic to that Uranus ruler. And I feel like this might be a week during the eclipse where you might hold space for other people, because here in the opportunity, the obstacle is the earth fairy, which represents physical healing. It represents grounding and it represents foundations. And Crystal says, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon that you can't see. And some of you may be experiencing some some physical challenges, and feel very vulnerable to the dynamics that are going on in the world. And so I want you to realize that your energetic body has an immune system that protects you from being as vulnerable as you may think you are, and your connection to spirit. Have faith and hope, because in the angels' advice is really a little bit of a challenging energy, because we have Bridget asking us to look deeper into our what is the foundation of where I'm stepping off of? Let me see if I can be more clear. I'm 60 years old, for those of you that are new, and I just turned in October, and supposedly I'm at risk for whatever's going on. And I asked myself the big question: do I feel vulnerable in this way? I know there's a certain amount of me adhering to the courtesies of the dynamic, but I feel like my immune system, my connection to spirit is fueling that immune system. So I feel like for Aquarius, it may be difficult right now for you to grab on to and anchor your faith. That's where I'm going with this burden and this looking deeper, because in the final position, I have Archangel Raphael, which is about physical healing. And then I have the Queen, which is about receiving. It's about, it's a feminine energy. It's a trusting energy. It's an energy about the law of allowing. And it's about allowing yourself to know that your connection to spirit is in many ways protecting you and keeping your physical body safe. And part of your job, Aquarius, is to allow for the inspirations that come through, to listen to those. I want to say it this way. I think you guys know I gave up my Starbucks because it's like, I started doing the morning routine with the lemon water and the celery juice. And then I thought about, I missed it one day and I wanted to go have it. And what I was thinking about is that I don't have to be perfect at anything. I just have to be a certain amount of consistency to build the momentum, so that when I do want to play in a different place with my physical body, my body's better equipped to handle it. Okay. I got to say, a little distracted. Barbara, I'm going to back up a little bit because I think I saw that you lost your mom. Oh, your mom transitioned to the other side on Thursday. Wow. So now she gets to be an angel and show you and give you proof that there is another side. She was greeting people from the other side, and she'd do things like break into school songs. It was that is so awesome. You know, I've as I've done this work to be, I don't look at death the same way. I don't mourn it the same way. I will say I do mourn my animals because they provide so much love to me, but for some reason I don't mourn the human the same way. I almost feel like there's a clearer sight as to who and what we are and why we're here. So I think it's kind of cool because I get the sense your mom is very much at peace with it, just in the way it's coming across to me right now. I feel like she was ready. It doesn't feel like she was afraid. It feels like she was at peace with things. So I think you should take her cue and then enjoy your conversations from the other side, because the veil is getting thinner. Good morning, Sabrina Ray. Okay. All right. I'm going to go on to my Capricorns. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Oops. Drop everything. Welcome, Brett. Welcome, Zaraku. I think that's the way you say it. Welcome. We're going to send tons of love to you, Barbara, and to your mom. I'm sure she's with us now because all the energy of everybody wishing you well. Okay, here we go. Welcome, Nirvana Flux, Capricorn, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. We have Layla. We have Chantal. We have Fiona. And we have Archangel Raphael. So I might repeat myself a little bit, but again, we have this lunar eclipse on the 5th. It is squaring Mars and it's opposing Venus. So the Mars-Venus energy is going to be very strong, man, woman, you know, that whole dynamic. And it may, you know, when I think about it, so many of us have been sequestered with our loved ones for so long that it may just be too much togetherness is driving people a little bonkers. Small wildflowers. That's funny. Okay. Capricorn. Joining Layla is the Trust card. Joining Chantal is Merlin. Joining Fiona is the Lady of the Lake. And joining Archangel Raphael is the Queen. Okay. So when I look at this, the first thing I felt like is Capricorn. I don't know how long you guys have been watching me, but you know I have a little bit of a love for Capricorn in some ways. I don't know why. Could be my Venus is at the Capricorn degree. I like strong men. Capricorn's a strong sign. Leaders. I love that. And when I look at Layla asking me to spend time in nature, Capricorn, and to trust, it feels like it has a lot to do with, and I'm not taking the Queen as a woman in this position. I'm actually feeling it's about allowing myself to receive, and that there's a healing here. And I want to put it this way. It's about Capricorn, you know, you're the goat. You traverse the mountain, you work hard, you cross your T's, you dot your I's, you check and double check before you turn in your homework. And I feel like right now now it's about receiving. Now it's about a little bit, when I say receiving, I mean, it's about if your relationship is going a little, I want to use the word bonkers. I don't know why I want to use the word bonkers. It just feels a little funny to me. A little, again, here's our homes, our lives are all a little bit disruptive because I feel like Capricorn, I guess where I'm going with this is maybe you don't have to fix this. Maybe you don't have to help anybody through this. Maybe this is more about you just holding space for your loved one to figure it out for themselves. Because in the opportunity, the obstacle, I have Chantal, which is the angel of romance. And then I have Merlin, balance through pressure. And many of you may be wanting a relationship, but for some reason, I feel like I'm going to the relationships that are already in play, and that there could be the potential that there could be miscommunications or beliefs that you both have that are different. And at any other time, you're more patient with each other in this. But right now, our patience is a little bit thin. And I feel like Fiona is asking you to turn to God and the angels so that you can lovingly speak your truth, speak your dynamic. I guess I kind of, the way I'm putting it for Capricorn, I guess is like this. It feels like you've done the lion's share of the hard work, maybe. And in your relationships, maybe it's in your family, maybe it's even in your professional life. And I feel like maybe it's about backing off from that hard work and sort of saying, okay, weird metaphor. Say in your house, nobody dumps the trash. And you're like, well, someone dumped the trash. And you just end up always doing it because nobody else will do it. Leave the trash there. That's what I want to say. I feel like there's a certain healing that Capricorn can receive when you trust a bigger picture. So let me offer this too, because when we as humans have certain experiences with other humans, we'll say, well, that's how they are. That I know they're going to do that. I know that's what they always do. And on some level, we are energetically participating in the very disruption we don't like because we are so used to the, I know they're going to do that. I know they're going to do that. And yes, people do that. And that's sometimes where we have to go to spirit and trust a bigger picture. I'm powerless over shifting this person from being who or what they are. And so allowing myself to realize that maybe there's a little bit of balance that can be had by adopting an attitude where I don't try to fix it. I don't fix it. I feel like I let God fix it, because there's the art, there's the healing energy, and there's the receiving energy. Okay. I hope that made sense. It kind of did to me, but it did make sense to me. This is a week when in our relationships, people may be going, brrr, and our job is not to go like this with them. It's almost to be like, okay. And not condescendingly, it's more being aware of all these dynamics, because the people around you may not be aware of the astrological weather. Okay. Welcome, Capri Warren. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Okay. Going to go on to our Sagittariuses, and this would be your lunar eclipse. I believe it's at 15 degrees. I don't live with anyone, but I live in an apartment building where I feel like I sometimes live with people I don't want to live with. I spoke about my neighbor playing her music really loud. Then I have another neighbor who, he thinks he owns the building. He leaves his laundry in the freaking laundry room for, hours, 8-10 hours dirty, or he'll leave wet laundry and never start the dryer. And I do things by the rules, okay? And I'm going somewhere with this because I feel like not everybody's going to follow the rules. And us as a tribe might want to say, hey, do I need to be the rules, Ruthie the rules police this week? Maybe it's just a good time to let somebody else take care of it. Because people are going to be I think people are going to stand on their beliefs, whether they think their beliefs have a strong foundation or not. It's just wanting to be right. Welcome, LP. Good to see you. Okay. Oh, Natalia. I'm not saying that right. Natalie. That H is kind of throwing me off. I'm sorry to hear that. This is a time when anything that's been, kind of off balance is going to be revealed. All right, let's go to Sagittarius. Our first angel is Isabella. Yes, the timing is right. And then we have Desiree saying, no, conditions aren't favorable. There's Layla, and then there's Crystal. All right, let's join the other deck. CJD, I'm totally with you. These transits are just hovering. They're squaring everything personal to me. It's been so wild. And in the surrendering of the square. So I've been taking class, or took that webinar with Brian Coulter about the nodes. And he, I listened to another video of his, and he was talking about squares creating friction. And, I kind of thought, well, I know this logically in astrology. And then I watch all these property shows, and I'm thinking about building a foundation. And if you don't have a square, it's really hard to build a strong foundation. So what I'm trying to do is look deeper into how the frustration, or whatever the friction is bringing me to a stronger foundation of who and what I want to be on. Okay. So Isabella is saying, or Isabella is being joined by the focus card. Desiree is being joined by the letting go card. Layla's being joined by the trust card. And the spider's being joined by crystal. Yes, it's a very, very, very controversial time right now. So us holding light and love in these times is so powerful. So powerful. Okay, so Sagittarius. Yes, the timing is right for this new venture. And what I believe is that this is a time to really look at your focus. And I'm going to go to the final position, and then I'll go back around, because while the world changes right now, we're not going to be able to build our futures as the landscape is changing. It's like trying to build a house in the middle of a storm. So I feel like rather than trying to get the actual nails and 2x4s, put that frame up, it's more about, well, let me design the frame, and then let me start to think about conceptually where to move forward, because I think it's about focusing in on your future. I don't know that I think it's about taking action. And I'm going to say that because Desiree is saying that conditions aren't favorable to take action. Now, the letting go card for me is never about letting something go. It's from the movie Frozen. It's the song, Let It Go. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. I think that's what Sagittarius Spirit is asking you to look deeply into what you believe about yourself, and to spend time in nature connecting with Spirit so you can build a strong platform of trust and belief in yourself as you take your steps forward. Because when we take our steps forward based on trepidation, I'm not even going to say fear, I hope I can do it, I think I can do it, then my focus is more on lack, or more on the deficit of what I am than what I am at the highest level. So I feel like it's really important for taking this lunar eclipse, this full moon, which technically is endings. So I want to offer the ending of looking at doing things from another person's way of doing it, allowing yourself the freedom to muse and to contemplate how, if you were to move your story forward, would it really look like, not what you think you can create. And that's where Desiree is asking you to sort of look at the conditions. They're not favorable, because you may say, well, this is happening, so I have to do this. So, and then that's happening, so I have to do that. And I think it's about taking what's happening off the table and then going into the dynamic of what Crystal is offering us, having faith and hope, because there's more on the horizon. And our job is to really tell Spirit what that horizon looks like. And then they'll get us on the ship. They'll get us on the vessel to take us there. Okay. All right. CJD says, yeah, I feel like my foundation is crashing. I'm just trying to sit back and write it out. I can tell what emotions are real and false, just questioning everything, especially my own feelings. The CJD, I couldn't agree with you more, because the world, there's a wave, and what is mine and what is yours? People are having, it's like it's such a polarizing time in so many genres of life. And that's what this lunar eclipse is going to illuminate, is a polarization. So when you look and say, I don't know what's going on out here, but this is how I want to show up for me. I really, going back to my Uranus hitting my natal moon, I've really decided in my head that how I was going to process that is to be liberated from whatever emotions have been holding me back. I'm an Aries rising, and I can have dialogues with people who've done me wrong in my head like nobody's business. I mean, I'm telling you, if people knew how annoyed and how hurt I am sometimes in my head, they would be shocked that I think, because they think I just blow things off. And maybe not some people have known me for a while. This is this second Saturn return version of me. But the reason I'm saying that is because I'm putting an intention out there. I'm putting an intention to spirit saying, I'm tired of this loop. I know it's there. It's like a branding on my brain, but let me move my focus somewhere. Let me start to focus on the fun things, on the things that feel warm and joyous. And then I engage them to help me do that, because I am human, and that humanness of me will supersede most of the time. Well, I have to say it this way, because when I was younger, the humanness superseded. Now I feel so strong in my connection that it's hard to push me. I mean, I will say there are certain times those squares triggered me, but now I've got myself back. Okay. All right. On to our Scorpios. Welcome, Shelley. Glad you could make it. Welcome. Did I say hi to DC? Okay. Well, I want to say this. Natalie, it's going to take me a minute to get over that H. No pun intended. But when I started to really grab onto my loop is when I read Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now. And he would talk about how often that branding, that loop, is either the past or some fear projection into the future. And so rather than trying to stop the loop, I just started to say, what about a new loop? What's a new loop that I can do? And I just slowly started to try to move away from it, because the resistance of trying not to be negative, or trying not to be hurt, or trying to be too Zen. It's not me. I'm an Aries rising. So I stopped resisting who I am. Your fave Nurse B, so good to see you. I hope you're well. I hope you're doing well. You're one of our special, like heroes in all of this. Sending so much love to you. Hope you're doing good. All right, we're going on to Scorpio. And why do I think your fave Nurse B had a baby recently? Did you have a baby? Do I remember that? I don't know. All right, here we go. Scorpio, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. First angel is Francesca. The second is Serena. The third is Archangel Uriel. And the final is Chantal. Well, I'm telling you, Chantal is coming out a lot. And I can't help but think, with this Mars and Venus dynamic to this moon, that this is really going to be a lot for everybody about these intimate relationships. And not all intimate relationships are love relationships, meaning, I said that backwards. Not all love relationships are intimate relationships. So this may not have anything to do with your intimate partner, your husband, your life person. It may have something to do with your mom, your sister, your best friend, other people you consider family and tribe members that may irritate you. Or they may, or you may irritate them. Because sometimes, this is what I want to say too before I go on, Scorpio, is that sometimes when we are fearless in the midst of fear, people will get angry at us and they'll say, no, there's this reason for you to be like this. Look at the news. Look at this. Look at that. There's all this evidence. And you're like, nah, I'm not going there. I'm cool. I'm good. I'll be respectful to everybody else. Sometimes fear will defend itself. So just don't engage. That's where I'm going. In general, Francesca's being joined by the protection card. Serena's being joined by the dog. Archangel Uriel is being joined by the fire fairy, and Chantal is being joined by the novice. Okay, Francesca says, what do you visualize right now? It will come about. Negativity will block your progress. And here's the prediction card. I'm sorry, the prediction, the protection card. I want to say this, our thoughts, our ability to see our thoughts. And this is the thing too, we don't have to resist those negative thoughts. We don't have to push them away. We just have to try our best when we're not to let them get on the hamster wheel and get too much momentum going. It's kind of just this sort of this surrendering. And I want to say it this way, because I don't think this is about money, but Serena does represent money. She represents abundance. And look how she's so chill. And there's the dog, unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity. I want to say this for I think this is a lot to do with your love life, Scorpio. I think that if you are in a relationship with someone who has habits and just a little weird habits, maybe they, need a lot of time to themselves. Maybe they, I don't know. I'm like, all of a sudden I saw somebody wanted to golf all the time. I feel like right now it's about recalibrating your love relationship and recalibrating your expectations. Because in the angel's advice, I have Archangel Uriel dealing with frustration. And this fire fairy is about creative thought and creative action in relation to receiving love. I feel like for Scorpio, you're so rich and you want to dig deep. You're that eighth house, it's Kundalini, it's tantric sex, it's this, I want to say two puzzle pieces, that kind of relationship. And you may be in some level ready to dig deeper than your partner is right now. And I feel like there might be, rather than trying to push for that, you just sort of take a little bit of pacing with this, because Chantal talks about a romance, a new romance, or the resurgence of a romance. And then we have the unstable new beginning in the form of the novice. So I feel like, so let's say you're ready to go to the next level, and it's about a bit of gentility as your partner joins you in that endeavor. And if indeed it's been, because there's something about this that makes me want to go to friendships as well. Because when people have a strong bond, they love each other. They love their commonality. They love their synchronicity. And sometimes we start relationships when we're feeling kind of low and kind of, not on our game. And we start to rise into our game, but our friend or our partner is still in that same place, and vibrationally it starts to shift. And it can be a little scary at first. And I feel like for Scorpio, this is maybe not about jumping into action to try to fix something or to try to uncover it, but to allow it to reveal itself to you so that you can have this resurgence in your love life on a new platform. Okay, going on to Libra. Well, my goodness, your baby is a year old already? Oh my goodness, no, the baby's not a year old yet, is it? Well, congratulations, our favorite nurse. Okay. Poppy, where are we going here? I'm missing something fun in the chat. Oh, well. All right, on to Libra. Libra rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I quite like the name Poppy. Nate Berkus and his partner named their daughter Poppy, and she's adorable and precocious. Okay, Libra, here we go. Oh, I know. So much retrograde. And Venus is opposing Pluto, Saturn, and I don't know if she's moved. I don't know what degree she's at, but still. Oh. All right, here we go. Libra, our first angel is Serena. The second is Xana. The third is Chantal. Oh boy, this is a week of all about love, guys. All about love. All about the Mars-Venus relationship. All right, for Libra, Serena is being joined by the Trust card, Xana is being joined by the Joy card. Chantal is being joined by the Queen. And Akasha is being joined by the Eagle. This is fabulous, guys. Okay, so Libra represents partnership, right? So isn't that interesting? It also represents diplomacy, and it represents justice, fairness. And I feel a little bit like for my Libras, myself included, I feel like a little bit of trust. And I want to say it this way. Serena is the angel of abundance. And while she talks about money, abundance comes from a lot more than just cash. Abundance comes in many ways. And I believe that for Libra, it's time for you to trust a bigger picture of for your resources. And I want to put it this way, because, we may think of, Match.com is a resource to meet a love interest. We may think, because where I'm going with this is I believe Libra has something to learn about really trusting diplomacy, trusting this gentle way of being and receiving from the universe versus having to make it happen, because Xana is the angel of protection. This is my opportunity and or my obstacle. And there's the Joy card. And here's Chantal and the Queen in the angel's advice. Chantal represents an intimate relationship, and the Queen is about receiving. So where I'm going with this, because, for those of you that are familiar with me, I'm not married and I've never been married. And so I'm at a certain age where most people would say, well, that ship has sailed. And I don't believe that's true. I trust, and God is in charge of how that resource will come to me. And my job is to believe that and to be in joy and to receive when spirit passes the baton to me, because in the final position for my Libras is Akasha, the spiritual teacher, and the Eagle. The Eagle is the connection to the angelic realm, Sagittarius, 9th house. This is a full moon, lunar eclipse in Sagittarius that will teach us something about receiving what we need versus trying to figure it out. Okay, so this is what I want to say. I have a client who has no issues about money. This person just has an attitude of abundance. And one day they walked into my home and told me they won $200,000 on a scratcher, the lottery. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I would have been dancing in like nonchalant, just as if it was any other day. And I really took something from that, because I thought, this person has no issues with money. They go to Vegas. They gamble. Almost always wins. It's just this belief that this person has about things coming to them. I feel that Libra has something very strong to learn about trusting that things will come to me. Trusting that when I sit in that receptive energy and I feel joy, this is why I go to the moon, because the moon really dictates our manifesting momentum. So I feel for Libra that this is going to be an opportunity to see the universe work for you this week versus you having to make something happen. And I think that this is the opportunity to have a lesson that, and I don't want to say a lesson, it's more of an experience, because experience teaches, words doesn't really teach. So we have this experience, and the next time it comes up again, we think, I wonder if I'll be provided for again. And then boom, something happens. So that's where I'm going. Now I'm going to go on to my Virgos. Okay. Oops. Thank you, Shelley. Okay. Are you guys talking about Lily Munster from the Munsters? You know, she was considered the ugly one. They used to feel sorry for her because of her looks, which I think is so funny because she was so pretty. All right, here we go. Virgo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Okay. Our first angel for Virgo is Indriel. The second is Archangel Michael. The third is Seraphina. And the final is Serena. Ooh. Lily's a wonderful name. I love Lily. And Barbara, I would love to have a garden. Sometimes I follow Joanna Gaines, and when I look out at the property they have in their garden, I just drool. Maybe that's my Taurus moon. I don't know. Okay, here we go. For my Virgos, joining Indriel is the serpent. Joining Archangel Michael is the horse. Joining Seraphina is the birth and the rebirth card. And joining Serena is the focus card. First thing that hits me here is that, Virgo is practical and dependable. Again, another hardworking earth sign. And I feel like this serpent is really about shedding another skin. It's about, I talk about Indriel, the light worker. I believe that there are so many souls on this planet that are in touch with the truth of who they are. And it's one of our opportunities being here is to shine that light of faith, to know that we are here to help create balance. And then there's a serpent. And normally I'll say this is about shedding a skin, but it really does feel about a sense of healing that comes as I remember to shine my light from a bigger place. And that bigger place is beyond what I can see with my eyes, because Archangel Michael here talks about having the courage to move towards your divine life's purpose. And Virgo may, on some level, know, I want to honor the inner knowing of what that purpose is, and yet have trepidation about that purpose, because maybe it's something that to the outside world doesn't seem concrete or viable or grounded enough. But I believe that this is about trusting Archangel Michael, and your opportunity is to move into a new direction. And in doing so, I think it gives you a rebirth in your life. This is the birth and the rebirth card. And this is Seraphina saying a happy change is coming to your family. I don't believe that that's about a baby. It feels more like it's about an inner dream, an inner longing, a picture bigger than yourself, and allowing for that. And then God and the angels will take care of all your resources, and your joy is to focus in on the serenity of knowing that you're being protected because you are a light being. When troubled times hit, and they've hit us all in a really big, obvious way now, but we all have these little pockets in our own lives when trouble hits. And I ask myself often, if I had the ability to dream this life, and I've had the ability to create it, would spirit really rip the rug out from underneath me? Or is it my job to hold the line? And that's what I think for Virgo. It's about holding the line and being courageous as you move into a new direction. And that new direction is not always about moving your body. It's about giving life to a new concept of who and what you are and what you will experience moving forward. I have experienced people who stay in situations that are tremendously uncomfortable, but because they can't see where they would go, they would rather stay where they're really uncomfortable than to venture out into that foggy land, that road that isn't clear. And that's why I feel like this Indriel and this allowing this healing to take place be so that Virgo can know you already do the hard work. Now it's time to receive. Oftentimes I'll talk to my clients about the laws of attraction, what I believe are universal laws. And it's a big topic that people are used to, but it's the law of allowing that I think becomes pivotal, because we can attract all sorts of things, but if we don't feel deserving, or we go back into our story of what happened before, we won't allow that new experience in. We will operate from a place from before. So You always deal with liars. People lie to you. And somebody truthful comes, you might be saying, oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So I feel like this is a little bit for Virgo to then say to Spirit, thank you for giving me the confirmation I need so that I can feel comfortable moving forward. Okay. Okay. On to our Leos. Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Welcome, Farah. Welcome, Shawl. I don't think I said hello to you. Any hope for a Virgo man, very difficult and stubborn. See, Shawl, that's exactly where on some level we participate as a result of our experiences with someone. So we see them as stubborn. So we go into a situation and we think they're going to be stubborn. And that's our energetic participation. That's where I would say to Spirit, you know what? I have had this experience with this person. If indeed they are able to shift, thank you for giving me an experience that reveals that to me. And I start to move myself into, because often when we move away from something, we're moving away from it and staring at what is over here. I got to get away from this uncomfortable thing. I got to get away from this feeling, this person. And we inadvertently are bringing them with us. Okay. All right. On to our Leos. Try to keep this thing a little bit shorter, but I don't seem to be able to make it shorter than an hour and a half, no matter how hard I try. Whoops. I'll be back. Ugh. Okay. Okay, here we go. Our first angel is Crystal. For Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. The second is Layla. The third is Mystique. And the final is Bethany. My Uranus is in Leo, in the 5th house. I think that's why I never had children. You know, Uranus is so independent, and I was so wanting to express myself. It's interesting to me. I have quite a few Leos in my life, and some are very like the sun, and then others are very, I've got one person I know that's very Neptunian in their Leo-ness. You would never guess in a million years this person was a Leo sun. And I found that to be so interesting when I started studying astrology, how the transits, when you're born, the aspects to the planets have such a profound effect on your experience. Okay, Leo. Joining Crystal is the bee. Joining Layla is the communications card. Joining Mystique is the horse. That's interesting. And the final is the protection card. Okay. I want to say, for my Leos, Crystal says, have faith and hope there's more on the horizon. I want to offer it this way, guys. The world is changing in a way we can't quite perceive right now. And we don't know what opportunities will be presented to us as a result of that. And I feel like the bee here, while it represents good luck, it represents victory. I think this is about my being energy. And my being energy is to stand in faith. And the faith is demonstrated by being able to go into the experience you want to have. It's being able, I don't know if you guys, I've told you about my dinner party before, but when I imagine my partner, my future partner, whoever that will be, I imagine a dinner party. And being at this dinner party, it's not just he and I in good place, but we are surrounded by people that are, we think of as family. We think alike. We have a very mellow situation, and there's a lot of love in that. And I give myself the privilege to go into this dream place, into this vision of what I'd like to experience. And I've made myself cry with gratitude for it. So I feel like those are the kind of experiences that really allow spirit the green light to move things around and make things happen, because, and I'm going to go to the final position and then I'll work my way back. Leo, as you take care of yourself in that bigger picture, you're being protected in all that you want to feel. The sun, the laughter, the fun, the sex, all those Leo qualities, all that fun, without that fifth house, life would be such a drag. So I feel like hold tight, hold on to your vision. And in the meantime, in your opportunity or obstacle, is communicate that vision to spirit and go and allow yourself the privilege of going into that daydream and really feeling it. Because in the angel's advice is Mystique saying, keep charging ahead, expect miraculous solutions. They're coming. And this is always Gloria Estefan coming out of the dark and into the light. And then we have another horse. Not only is this about moving forward, and I'm not going to say this is about changing direction. This to me now is an intuitive. The horse does not follow fear. It follows love. It follows leadership. There's a purple hue to the bottom on the hooves. And to me, that's always spoken to my third eye. So here, as I connect with spirit, I will feel protected as spirit starts to bring in that experience that I want to have. And I want to say it this way for my Leos too, because as I say that, I feel like I'm going to somewhere where it's a personal experience for Leo. It's a, you're ruled by the sun. And I feel like it's a moment where the sun gets to shine down on you. And in a way where people aren't necessarily thinking you're sucking up all the air, but rather celebrating you as the creative, amazing, fun, loving, charming being that you are. Okay, on to Cancer. Okay. This eclipse season, I think, is just, it feels a little bit like we've been just, it's one thing after another. We watched Pluto and Saturn creep towards each other. We sort of braced for the end of 2019, and we thought we'd get a little bit of respite. Unfortunately, I never took into consideration how Mars joining Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter would affect. I could never have, honestly, I'll tell you this about this situation we're living through. When 9/11 happened, I was a freak for like 3 weeks. I mean, I was a nervous wreck. I just kept feeling this foreboding, so much scare. I was scared all the time. Had restless sleep. I broke out into hives. It was terrible. And once it hit, I was like, don't ever do that to me again. I said to Spirit, I don't want a halfway knowing. I don't want to know anything I cannot affect or influence in a positive way because I don't want to scare people. So I believe a lot of intuitives, a lot of astrologers didn't put this situation together because it's part of walking as the human through it and making choices. And I don't think it would have served anybody to brace for this situation and to be going like this, because we've already seen what happened with toilet paper gate. And as a tribe, our job is to stand in faith. There's a bigger picture to this disruption. Okay, on to our Cancers. Oh, wow, Sabrina, that's a very crazy story. It was, I believe, there was so much energy going on because when that happened, I believe as souls, there's an inner sort of knowing. I don't know how, but I feel like there's a contract with big things like this. So when I think about it, all the people that were perpetrating this situation, all their guides and angels were on alert. When I think about everyone who was victim to the situation, all their guides and angels were on alert. There was a lot of stuff going on, and there is similar to that now. And as we call upon them to be with us, to comfort us, to help us stay anchored in the light, we'll find ourselves being the light. Okay. Oh, wow. Barbara. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, here we go. Cancer, rising sun, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel is Francesca. The second is Indriel. The third is Fiona. And the final is Akasha. for a second, guys. Okay. I'm having a personal heat wave. Okay, Francesca is being joined by the restriction card. Indra is being joined by the Baird. Fiona is being joined by the letting go card. And Akasha is being joined by the Hawk. For my Cancers, we have Francesca saying, what do you visualize right now? Focus on that negativity will block your progress. And then we have the restriction card. And I feel like this restriction card feels like Saturn to me. It feels like Cancers could be slightly triggered into some sort of inner dialogue as to, have I done everything the way I was supposed to do it? Did I do it right? Am I good enough? Have I worked hard enough? And I feel like you have. And I feel like in my opportunity, my obstacle, I have Indra, the light worker, and then I have the Baird, which is the history card. To me, this is where I come from. It's also the element of storytelling. And I feel like there's a little bit of a shadow side with my Cancers, wondering if they measure up. And I feel like Spirit is trying to say, yes, you do. Because in the angel's advice, Fiona says God is in charge of what it is that you want. They will bring it to you. And the letting go card is about moving away from fear. And I've felt for quite some time during this situation that Cancer's been kind of homesick, missing the maybe extended family. Maybe you're one of those Cancers that always had barbecues on Sundays and your family came over, and that's been disrupted. And because you identify so much with that dynamic in your life, you felt off kilter a little bit. And I feel like you're also being taught something about your fears during this time. And I feel like the letting go card is Elsa going up the mountain in Frozen. It's funny how some distance makes everything look small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits, to break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Free from my history. Free from my story of wherever I have holes, wherever things have maybe not panned out the way you wanted them to. Because in the final position, Akasha, the spiritual teacher, is here, and the Hawk. And the Hawk is about rising above my fears. So here is Spirit asking you to focus in on what it is you want and to be diligent. I think that restriction card is Saturn saying doing the hard work of believing something you haven't experienced. It's stepping out into the unknown, and there's a weird sense of melancholy attached to it, because I feel like somehow Cancer might think if I move forward this direction, I have to leave this behind. And I don't think that's true. I think that's kind of how you perceived it. And Spirit's trying to give you a experience that says maybe that's different. Maybe there's a shift to be had. And now let me go back to this dynamic with this. You're ruled by the moon, Cancer. The moon is going to oppose or square Mars and oppose Venus. So some ways it's going to thwart your action. It's going to be asking you. And then I want to go to Venus representing my self-worth. Do I deserve to have these things come if I'm not producing, or if I'm not playing the role I was supposed to play in this circle, in this dynamic? Because I feel like as you allow yourself to be mindful of this, that Spirit's going to start to give you experiences where you see how much you are valued, that you may not always be told how much you're loved, but you are. And it may be a little bit of two things. It may be that you're so busy playing out your role for your family that you don't hear the appreciation because your mind is busy focused on the tasks at hand. And maybe there's a little slowdown. And in that slowdown, you're better able to hear what it is you need to hear to give you and energize you to move forward, meaning to continue to do what you love to do, which is take care of home, hearth, family. All right, here we go. Start page, I want to say this. That's exactly in some ways why I don't I told Spirit I don't want to know when there's going to be major events that are negative or too challenging, because it can be a real dream damper, a real it can make us, it can take the wind out of our sails. And I feel like there's a wisdom to the unknowing. It's why we don't remember our past lives. Can you imagine? Think about how many people that actually pissed you off in this lifetime. And what if when you came into this lifetime and you'd lived 600 or 700 lifetimes, you brought every one of those people you don't like with you? Oh my God, we'd never get over anything. We'd never evolve. So I think that there is a wisdom to not knowing. I think that anger would indicate in some ways that you don't want someone damping your mood, telling you bad things are coming your way. Who wants to hear that, really? Because there's always bad things. I mean, honestly, there's always bad things happening throughout the world. And I think our job is to do our best to stay in the light. Hi, Tylena. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Oh, and I didn't get to say hello to MOB. I don't know if I should call you Mob. I think it's MOB, but I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going on to my Geminis now. Stephen, I wonder who might have said that to you, huh? Okay, here we go. This is our Geminis, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And even though I know she's not listening, I'd like to wish a very special Gemini a happy birthday today. Thank you, Don Mega. I appreciate that comment. Here we go. Okay, Gemini. Our first angel is Indriel. The second is Akasha. The third is Oceana. And the final is Layla. Okay. Bye, Rye. See you next time. Have a great day and a great week. Okay. Indriel is being joined by the Joy card. Akasha is being joined by Merlin. Oceana is being joined by the dog. And Layla is being joined by the swan. All right, my Geminis. Okay. We have Indriel the Lightworker and we have the Joy card. I want to offer this to you. I believe that there is a little, Gemini is an amazing sign because I think sometimes my experience of Geminis are they deliberate and weigh things more than a Libra does. And sometimes I feel like Gemini can sometimes default to the more challenging thought process. And I feel like Spirit has got your back, okay? I feel like there is the potential that the disruption that this world is going through somehow is going to help Gemini get a leg up. And it's time to kind of rejoice in your light, because there's something about balance through pressure and alchemy that Merlin offers. And this is the teaching card. This is Akasha, the teacher. And I feel like Gemini has something to learn about pressure, about how sometimes an experience will appear one way in its beginning, and then it transforms to be something that becomes a gift that we didn't see. Because in the angel's advice, we have the dog, which is about unconditional love, loyalty, and sincerity. And then there's Oceana saying to take action. And when I look at Oceana, I really see the whale in the background. I see her engulfed in the light, and yet the light comes from a dark, deep place. I'm assuming the surface of the ocean is here, and look how bright this shines. There's something to be had for Gemini that is being illuminated, but you're not the one who's illuminating it. Somebody else is illuminating it. So while you go through the process of standing in faith, in trust that you've passed the baton on to Spirit, and they are running the lap so they can pass it back to you, you will find that inner knowing that you had all along, the one that you trusted, but then maybe you were unsure, and then you went back and you're like, no, I think you're going to start to ground yourself in it. And Spirit's going to start to give you signs and omens through nature. And when I say nature, on the onset, it may sound like I'm talking about animals. I'm talking about trees, but it could be the nature of our day. I watch a lot of reality television. I love The Voice. I love Songland. I love these shows where people, go out and express their dreams, and Spirit uses those shows to communicate with me. I can feel messages coming through. And sometimes I don't know if you guys saw America's Got Talent, but they had a guy who had been in prison for 37 years. And in his package, he talked about how nobody can trap your mind if you can train your mind to be free. And I found that to be such a beautiful message. And so that's kind of where I'm going with this for my Geminis. I feel like there's something to be learned through the pressure of the experiences you've been having, and that there is a certain amount of faith that gets to be demonstrated because it purports an energy that then allows Spirit to then bring things to you that you've wanted for a long time. And now is a time to really contemplate those things as you transform. And I'm pretty sure it's a fairly significant thing for Gemini, not a trivial thing. So if you've always wanted a Dyson vacuum, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something much bigger. Okay. Going on to my Tauruses, Taurus rising, Taurus moon, Taurus sun, and Taurus stelliums. I see Stephen saying, I am here. And as I read that in the chat, the first thing that hits me is how powerful the two words I am are. Because whatever is then said after the I am is a declaration, and it is a call to Spirit. So when you're saying I am, be mindful of the words that come after that. I am lucky. I'm good with money. I'm great in relationships. Okay. Good morning, V. Giles. Welcome. Okay. On to our Tauruses. Oh. Exactly, Brianna. Okay, Taurus, here we go. Our first angel is Caressa. The second is Grace and Antoinette. The third is Omega. And the final is Serena. I like that I am amazing too. Sabrina, could you read the Gemini if Mercury is conjunct your sun, or is that reaching? No, I would absolutely think if Mercury is conjunct your sun in Gemini, then that would be very powerful, because Gemini, the sun is how you think, you perceive yourself out in the world. And then Mercury is how your mind works, how you think. So yeah, that would be important. I'd pay attention to that. Okay. Caressa is being joined by the Letting Go card. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Baird. Omega is being joined by the Disruption card. And Serena is being joined by the Horse. We've talked about Uranus a little bit earlier in the show and how it's transiting Taurus right now. And while Uranus can represent bombs and anxiety and nervous energy, it also is liberating. And I'm really stretching for the higher vibrations of these planets and these signs, because as we stretch for those, we engage them. For my Tauruses, I'm thinking this is Letting Go card is really speaking more to the verse, no right, no wrong, no rules for me, I'm free. And Caressa speaks to the ending of a cycle, a new chapter beginning. So for those of you that are new and not aware, I think of this Letting Go card as the song from Frozen, Let It Go. And then I go back to the lyrics. And in this case, for Taurus, I think you're being liberated from maybe sticking your hooves too firmly into the ground, which is keeping you from moving forward. And I say that because we have the Baird in your opportunity, your obstacle, and we have Grace and Antoinette, which is about compassion, compassion for my story, compassion for where I come from. And when I say that, I don't mean like, oh, I have to love my evil sister, or I have to love my abusive mother. It's more about having compassion for the soul that walked the journey, and that can then transform into something else. Because here's victory through this disruption. There is Omega is a beautiful, beautiful angel. It says, keep up the good work. And this disruption is disrupting the old story. It's like you're being liberated as Uranus transits your sign. And then we have Serena, the angel of abundance, which makes you feel safe as you move in a new direction, hence the horse. I'm a late degree Aries rising. And when Uranus transited my rising sign, I didn't know anything about it. Thank goodness, to be honest with you, because I would have scared myself. But in hindsight, it was when I launched my own business. I'd been doing the hard work of building my clientele and creating relationships. And then it was time for me to own it. And I didn't know how to do that. I kept trying to like work half time in a psychic bookstore and then half at home. And I remember my accountant saying, if you don't have both feet in the game, you can't get any good footing and get any traction. And then I just I got pissed off one day, kind of like what this full moon has to offer us. And I quit my job. And I just said, okay, Spirit, if I'm meant to do this, I'm building it. They will come. So for Taurus, you have been building it. Now invite Spirit to be your co-pilot, to be your partner, and to bring you the dynamics. Oh, I just got chills everywhere, to support your belief so that you can anchor that and have the security that you need as a second house. And I say that because Taurus represents on the wheel the second house, which is money, possessions, and our self-worth. And most of us judge our self-worth by our money and our possessions. Okay, on to our final sign, Aries. That's me. I'm so Aries, it's not even funny. Okay. Do you guys remember Miracle on 34th Street, the version with Natalie Wood? It's the original. And she asks Santa Claus to bring her a house. She wants a family. She wants, the kind of a traditional dynamic. And they go to the Christmas party and everybody gets their presents and she doesn't get her house. And then Chris tells them to take a certain route home. And in the car, she's like, I believe, I believe, I believe. Now, she's not really believing, but she's telling herself. And then all of a sudden she screams, stop the car. Do you guys remember that in the movie? Because I feel like this is a time to just be like Natalie Wood. I believe, I believe, I believe. And then let Spirit take the baton and give you a miracle, a magical miracle. All right, here we go, Aries. Our first angel is Serena, the angel of abundance. Hello. Okay. Caressa, the end of a life cycle. Layla, spending time in nature, connecting with God and the angels. And then Grace and Antoinette. As I shuffle the cards, one of my clients gave me a call and she was telling me about something she saw on television. And as she saw it, she was saying that she felt like Spirit was talking to her, that she felt like she was getting signs. And I could not be more elated because she's a deliberator. She can go back and forth and kind of see this side and then that side and then bounce back over here. And as she started to really connect with these signs, it's helping her anchor her faith. And I'm telling you this, Aries, because I think Layla is asking you to have a broader perspective than just nature, but your own nature, and watching for signs and clues. But let me finish and I'll make sense of it all. Serena is being joined by the novice, Caresa's being joined by the Perception card. Layla's being joined by the Wind Fairy. And Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Mystery card. Okay. Okay. So Serena is the angel of abundance. And I want to say this because the abundance really, to me, is not about money. It's about receiving. So we think about Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. What does Mars want to do? Take action, move, run ahead. Do not pass go. Do not pass whatever. Keep going, keep going. And I feel like this novice is a new beginning, an unstable new beginning, learning how to receive, learning how to put your directive into the drive-through of spirit and start to watch as your perception lines up to that. That's the Perception card. And then we have Caressa opening us up to a new chapter where new happiness awaits us. There's a little bit of a dark tone to Caressa's because there's a little bit of a melancholy as we go from one chapter to another. Because for my Aries, I really do think it's about learning how to tame your mind. I think it's about learning how to work with your mind and not resisting some of your thoughts, but then thinking of yourself. If you think about Mars being a warrior, how many warriors are by themselves? Usually there's a squad, a team, a platoon, a group of people being in that dynamic. So I guess what I'm trying to say for Aries is you're part of a team, and you have to start to see the team, or feel the team versus see the team, because your mind is going to want to move forward on your perceptions, and it's time to allow spirit to help shift your perceptions. And I say that because this is about compassion and choice. And I feel like this is compassion for self as I make the choice to walk into the unknown and think of myself as a team player, not a lone soldier. I think of Aries sometimes, and I know it's not how it's portrayed in the tarot, but I think of it as the Knight of Swords, because he's just like plowing, ready to take, and he's not really paying too much attention to the sceneries because he's so busy getting on his mission. So here we have full moon, lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, Sagittarius representing my beliefs, my connection to spirit. And what if for my Aries, this whole next period of time is about releasing my need to drive the bus and start to receive spirit's inspired action, inspired call to action. And we're going to do that by closing a chapter on the idea that I have to do it by myself. It's all me. It's all me. And then having compassion for yourself as you adjust to this new dynamic. It's pretty cool. Okay. That's pretty much it for this week for me. It's great to see you. Great to see so many new people in the chat. Love seeing you. We're here every Sunday morning. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, and intuitive guide. And I'm here with messages from your angels by astrological rising sign every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific. These are meant to help you traverse the transits. They're not meant to be predictions per se. I save those for the personal readings. And speaking of that, if indeed any of you would like to purchase a reading with me, you can go to astrolada.com and look for me under the readers menu. And that's it for today. So I want to send a lot of love to all of you and send you good weeks, good tidings. I'll see you on the other side of this eclipse. And I may shop for a unicorn helmet today to wear for the rest of 2020. I joke. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. Namaste. Peace out.